Hello and welcome to this vlog post. I am so excited to be sharing with you today the latest offering from one of my favourite authors. I'm so thrilled every time I get to produce a book of hers in audiobook form. This is Johanna Craven's Hills of Silver. It's the second in her West Country trilogy. And there's always a slight concern with a second book, right, that it's not going to match up to the first book if the first book is particularly awesome, which Bridles Lane was. Hills of Silver is absolutely brilliant. It is such a good book. I didn't read it in advance before I recorded it, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because every time I finished a chapter I was just so excited to get on to the next one without knowing what was going to come. So I can't recommend this book highly enough, but that obviously means that you need to go back and listen to Bridles Lane if you've not yet. You won't regret it. So Johanna writes beautiful, dramatic, gorgeous, bleak depictions of quite real life settings, and they're generally set in they're taken from some kind of real historical event. So without further blathering, I'll read you the back of the book. Cornwall, England, 1740. Scarlet Bailey has left home with a knife in her hand to search for the father she has grown up believing dead. Determined to punish him for abandoning his family, Scarlet finds herself drawn into the world of a local press gang where smugglers rub shoulders with naval officers and the revenue men are full of surprises. Scarlet's brother, Isaac, is making his own plans to escape Talland and release his family from a life of free trade. Behind the back of syndicate boss Charles Reuben, he conducts dangerous smuggling runs that will see a bullet in his chest if he is caught. When the truth of their father's disappearance finally comes to light, it will have far-reaching implications for Scarlet and Isaac. And while they both fight the allure of dangerous love, their enemies will do anything to stop their escape from succeeding. I should have probably said before I read that as this is the second in a trilogy, learning about this book may provide a few spoilers for the first. So, sorry, I haven't got my teeth in today. So if you've not listened to or read the first and you want to, maybe do that first before watching this vlog. I'm going to read to you maybe the first chapter, maybe just the first. I'm going to read to you the first chapter of Johanna Craven's Hills of Silver. It's just such a beautiful book, I feel like I need to show it off. This definitely doesn't do it justice. All of Johanna's books are... Am I fangirling? All of Johanna's books are really beautiful. Okay. Empty Land. He is afraid of her. She can tell. Scarlet watches Asher as the carriage rattles and thuds. They sit opposite each other on rough-hewn wooden benches, crammed beside wood bales that smell of earth and damp. He is forcing himself to keep his face impassive, jaw tight, lips pressed into a narrow line. His eyes flicker to the knife lying across her lap. He could overpower her easily. She reaches his shoulder, slim and slight. His muscular sailor's arms could break her like a twig. But Asher Hales, Scarlet has come to realise, is a coward, and as long as she sits with a knife in her lap, he will follow her like a dog. Once she'd been drawn to this man, had been drawn like a lovesick heroine to the fall of his hair, the sharp line of his jaw, his velvet voice and carefully chosen words. She had been drawn to him back in those distant days when her brother could do no wrong and her father's body lay on the sea floor. Distant days. They feel it. But it had only been that morning they had boarded the carriage in Polperro, less than a day since Scarlet had seen behind Asher's velvet voice to the lies that lay beneath, less than a day since he had produced his letter, and everything Scarlet had known to be true had crumbled. Her new world is harsh, sharp-edged. She sees in bright colours, bolts of flame, feels a chill in her chest, and a simmering in the rest of her body. But she is glad the lies have been torn away, is glad to be seeing through clear eyes. The carriage rattles, trundling from Polperro towards Port Reith, where, if the letter Asher has given her is to be believed, her father lives in hiding, The road snakes over balding hills and groves of trees blazing in the autumn. The sea has disappeared, leaving only the rise and fall of the land. They have passed few others on the road. There is a strange emptiness to the place, an odd stillness between the bawl of the gulls and the rhythmic clatter of wheels through mud. Scarlet feels a pang. Oh, gosh, I am sorry. Scarlet feels a deep pang of loneliness. She shuffles uncomfortably as the carriage lurches. Her shift has bunched beneath her stays, and she fidgets in annoyance. Everything is riling her. The shift, the smell of the wet wool, Asher's pathetic, doe-eyed cowardice. She reaches into her cloak pocket and pulls out the letter. The page is thin and fragile, 16 years old. She has read it so many times, she knows its contents from memory, but she reads it again, as though hoping she might find some hidden meaning, some new scrap of information. Jacob is no longer in Talland, it says. He left this place in his fishing boat, the village believing him drowned. On your return to England, you will find him in Port Reith. Nothing new, just the same neat allegations. The father she had idolised had abandoned his children, gifted them his unpayable debt. Asher's eyes have shifted from the knife to the discoloured paper in her hand. His cheeks are flushed, the rest of his face ashen, as though sickness had fallen over him the moment his dashing persona had been torn away. How can a man manage to be both flushed and pale at the same time? Scarlet wonders distantly. She shakes the letter at him. Who gave you this? She asks again. Who wrote it? Always the same response. No one you know. But you trust this letter. You believe we will find my family. You believe we will find my father in Port Reith. Her words are thin as she voices the possibility. If she is to find her father, there will be no great reunion. She will not fly into his arms and lose herself in a flood of happy tears. No, if she finds her father, she will make sure he knows how she and her brother have suffered. The wild anger will rise inside her, and she will not do a thing to stop it. Asher nods slowly. I trust the letter. Yes. He looks again at the knife, a sign he is lying, or just a twitch of his nerves. Asher... Sorry, I'm really messing this up. Scarlet grits her teeth in frustration. Asher Hales is both a liar and a coward, but he is also an intelligent man, a man that plots, plans, manipulates, a man who knows, surely, that keeping his knowledge close to his chest is the way to ensure his survival. That was the first chapter of Johanna Craven's Hills of Silver, Book 2 in the West Country Trilogy. Book 3 is set to be produced this summer, so will be out maybe in autumn, I should think, and I can't wait to read it. Honestly, this book just leaves on... I'm not going to say anything. Listen to Book 1 and Book 2. I will put some links to where you can listen to this book, Hills of Silver, below this vlog. I do have a few freebies, so shout out if you'd like one. They're limited, so first come, first serve, but I will send one your way. Apologies for the many mistakes in that reading. I don't edit videos, but I do edit audio, so you will find fewer mistakes in that, I hope. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you next time. I am narrator and writer and actress and general dog's body Rebecca McKernan, and signing off because I don't have any more words. Thanks, bye! Mwah.